The stakes are a lot different when it's a real life work experience.
I think that builds a degree of adaptability, like kind of freedom to experiment and kind of change on the fly and be dynamic in response that you can't get in a classroom. Like you can practice things as much as you want, but when you go out and you take that into the real world, something's gonna go wrong, it's not gonna be as you expected, and so kind of sometimes learning those skills on the fly or in a setting wwhere those changes are gonna have to take place, I find to be really valuable.
Absolutely. Having that real experience, whether it's through an internship, whether it's a co-op program, whether it's a practicum, it shows you what you're actually learning and being prepared for instead of just staying in that theory headspace.
You can feel that it's not pressure, but that sort of like high energy, and I think that'll push you to be much more motivated when you work on something in real life versus like it's a classroom setting and you're trying to get a good grade, so like you're just gonna do the job and get it done. I think there's a lot more motivation when you realize that the work that you're doing could actually like benefit and help other people.
I spent a lot of time doing knowledge gathering and theory. I made opportunities for myself to build skills in other ways, but had I not done that, I don't think I would know even where to start looking for a job once I had left. So I think kind of breaking that schooling up with opportunities where you get to take those skills and tangibly apply them to a problem, I think would be really beneficial for all students to have access to.
I did a research thesis in my final year of post-secondary, and that was definitely the most challenging but also the most rewarding part. It felt like something that made me go above and beyond my comfort zone. I didn't know if I was capable of completing it. It felt huge and daunting, and whether or not it was completed was up to me.
The most that I remember from my high school experience and everything I learned was after school when I would go and work on my science fair projects, and I learned the most from that because not only did I learn how to like research something and build stuff with my hands that could work, I also learned like how to do a presentation, and that's all stuff that I didn't really get in high school because we were just sitting in the classroom reading things. There's something very valuable about encouraging kids after school for them to also look for kind of these work-oriented sort of ways of learning and being entrepreneurial and taking it into their own hands instead of waiting till they're done school and done their degree to get a job.
I think the answer is it depends on how well the course has been designed, but I think unfortunately most classrooms are not designed in that way to give that kind of freedom. It's like you have to hit X, Y, Z curriculum goals and like then we're done.
I personally never felt like failure in the classroom was a viable option. I felt like it was something to be avoided. Success was the goal, and getting a certain grade and trying to maintain a certain GPA, whereas work-integrated learning, doing things on the job, volunteering, necessarily there was failure. That taught me a lot about myself and who I am in those situations.
Failure has been such an integral part of learning. Like one of the things that I pride myself on now is that I think I'm really good at failure. And by that I mean I've developed the skills to cope with failure and say, okay, this failed. Let's look at how it failed and why it failed, and let's figure out how to make it not fail the next time.
Failure is defined differently in the classroom than it is in the real world. So failure in the classroom is failing a test or a mark, right? Whereas in work-integrated learning, it would be more like you failed at a task. So what are you gonna do about that? So yeah, I feel incentives and consequences are different for both. And I feel that the incentives within a work-integrated learning environment are much more powerful for a person, for sure. Fully accepting and understanding that there's always more to learn, that I have to ask for help, that I have to branch out and look for experts in different areas and say, I would like you to do this, or this would really help me.
I learned what I don't want to do. I had a job one summer where I was working in like a policy capacity, and one weekend I was like, oh, I hate this, I really do. That's such a useful and powerful moment to meet the version of yourself that you think you want and be like, no, this is not what I actually want.